Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Let's Talk, where I will be sharing my testimonies on things that I had to endure and overcome from a young child until present. And you will see how God have always been in it, elevating my life and protecting me, guiding me through it all until this present day and beyond. Now we will be delving deeper into volume 7, part 1. So this part of my testimony is where I will be telling you guys why I had to move back to my dad the second time. So remember the very first time I moved to my dad after I got caught with the first guy, the one that actually took my virginity. Yes, I got caught with him, and then I had to move to my dad the very first time, and then I had to move back from my dad to my guardian because I was not happy, and my mom saw that I was not happy, so I had to move back to my guardian. But things and events occurred again, similar stance, but in deeper detriments, where I had to move back to my dad again this second time. As you guys would have recalled in volume 6 part 2, where I spoke about me dating my dad's DJ, we were sleeping together and we almost got caught in his business place. And so I decided that I wanted to see him, so I devised a plan for him to come to my guardian's place where I was living when my guardian was not at home, of course, and no one else was at home apart from myself and my cousin. But then my cousin came back from the game shop too early and then he managed to caught the DJ, so my dad's DJ, in my closet putting on a condom. Yes. So of course this spiraled off where police had to get involved, a gynecologist, different cross examiners who was asking me lots of questions to see if I would have broke or if my stories remained the same. I had to be back and forth to different gynecologists where they have to be testing me and all of that. And they didn't find anything. And so we had to be back and forth to the police station as well. And they said to my family, so my dad and my guardian and everyone else, it's okay, just forgive her, let it stay like that. And they said okay. Of course my dad almost killed me, so he was beating me for 3 hours non-stop. And mind you, I did not eat for 3 days because of the whole interrogation and the investigation, and I didn't have an appetite. Reason being, I was just confused. I was just like flustered and just everything that was going on. And I knew that it did not end there because I knew that my dad was going to murder me. Yeah. Anyways, that's what almost happened. I fainted and everything. I was not able to attend school for approximately 2 weeks. Yes, because of how damaged I was. So it went to court and everything. It was 3 days worth of court as well. So on the third day, I decided that, you know what, I'm going to drop the case because I do not want my dad to go to prison, We dropped the case and everything was just back to normal. Anywho, after 2 months, off, when everything died down and, the celebrations and everything, my dad was not locked up because, of course, I plead for him in the court that I do not want him to get locked up and all of that. So after 2 months of this whole situation and that, I was still living with my guardian. So my dad did not move me back to him just yet. So I was still living with my guardian. Everyone was still just keeping their eyes out on me, and things was just tense. It was still tense even after 2 months. And as much as I tried to, keep under the radar, I still had this desire that I had to satisfy my sexual needs, right? So what had happened is, I remember I told you about the married man that I started to, because I was dating the DJ guy, I started to lose interest in this married guy who was the taxi driver, right? So, but he did not lose any interest in me. He was still, irrespective of how I was treating him whilst I was dating that DJ guy, he still found that he wanted to be with me. And so we reconciled. So it was easy for me to reconcile with him because, he never lost interest in me, basically. We reconciled with each other. Of course, I was not seeing this DJ guy for months anymore. I wasn't hearing from him or anything. So I just said, you know what, that's a lost cause. And it didn't bother me anyways. For some strange reason, it didn't really bother me because I was just happy that I was alive, you know. Everything was just moving forward now. So story time. So one day I was at school, and one of my friend at the time, I had two close friends I was friends with at my high school, even though they used to talk about me behind my back, but that's neither here nor there. Nonetheless, so one of the friend, though she was in the same grade that I was in, which was grade 8, she was still 3 years older than I was. Reason being, she had repeated a grade twice. So for example, if she was in grade 7, she would have repeated grade 7 twice. So that means she would have done grade 7 for 3 consecutive years. So anyways, so she was older than I was. She was 17 at the time and I was 14 years old. So yeah, so she wanted to go to Mandeville in Manchester, Jamaica to meet this guy that she had met. And she had asked me to come with her. And of course, anything for an excursion, I would be up for it, right? Because I'm always bunking school anyway, so it was easy for me to do. So she knew that now I'm dating this married man that drives, so that was now a additional bonus. So it was an easy access for both of us. So we made this plan and we decided that we were going to go on this excursion and we would do a double date. So myself and the married man, and then herself and the guy she had met. So we would go on a double date. So I was like, yes, okay, let's go for it. Mind you, this was a school day. So of course, so I had to leave home in my uniform and then have my change of clothing in my school bag, as I always would do anyways. So yeah, that's what I would have done. Of course, obviously, I would be bunking school. So bunking means leaving school. So while school is in session, I would leave school and then go about my business and then return back to school before dismissal. Yes, so I had to play it very smart. My friend came to meet myself and the married man in Christiana, Jamaica. Reason being, it is more easier for her to meet us because I lived in Christiana town anyway. So all she had to do is leave from where she was living to come to meet us, because the man was living close by in Christiana too as well. And then he needed to go to the bank to withdraw some funds that we were going to use on our date. Of course, whilst the man was in the bank, we were parked up outside Mr. Green's Plaza in Christiana, Jamaica. So who comes from Christiana, they would know this plaza vividly. So it's Mr. Green's Plaza. We were parked up outside of, whilst the man went over to the bank. So probably it was, I don't remember if it was Scotia Bank or JN National Bank, one of those one. And he went in there, and whilst he went in there, we took the opportunity to say, let us change in the vehicle. So mind you, it was now me and her in the vehicle. Remember, he's a taxi driver as well, and he's self-employed, so he could run whenever he wants to run his taxi or whatever. His taxi was heavily tinted, so if you're changing in the car, nobody can see what you're doing in there because it was dark. So you would be able to see everything outside and around you, but no one else would be able to see you on the inside. That's how dark the car was. So of course we took that opportunity to say, you know what, let us change. So imagine both of us in the vehicle changing. The car was just bouncing up and down, bouncing up and down. And you now, people are passing and wondering, why is this car moving up and down? Of course, that is a strange thing, because automatically things will run through their minds. They're going to be thinking, is something happening that's not supposed to be happening in the middle of the town where everybody is seeing, you know? So, and of course, they're not able to see in the vehicle, so they're going to think the worst. So as I was putting my second leg into my shorts, because I took my change of clothing in my bag, all I could see in the rearview mirror was blue lights. And I'm thinking, where's this blue light flashing? When I looked around, to my very surprise, police. 3 vehicles of police was surrounding the car. And at this point, I was panicking and I was trying to open the door to run out of the vehicle. But of course, the police had already barricaded the door. All the police, they had barricaded the doors, so we could not run out. So as I opened the door to try to run out, one of the police barricaded my side of the door and the other 4 doors. We couldn't come out. The man was still in the bank. not knowing what was going on. He was still in the bank doing what he was doing until somebody had prompted him and told him that there's police surrounding his car. So now, of course, he came out of the bank wondering what was going on. And then, of course, he had to pretend like he was just doing his job, like as a taxi driver. So he was like, no, I'm a taxi driver, because they could see the taxi logo on his car as well. So they knew, okay, he's a taxi driver. So at the time, I had to go with the flow with what he was saying, because I was a minor and he's a grown man. I could not let this man get into trouble because of my own delinquents, right? I said, you know what, let me play the game, let me go with the flow, so that this man don't get into trouble, because of course he's a married man, he has his kid and he has his family, and I'm not about to get him in trouble, because we could not wait to put on our clothes. We could have put on our clothes whilst we're en route in the car, because at least the car would be driving, so nobody would be looking. But the car is stationary, so parked up, and we're changing off in the car. It's gonna raise alarms, especially people can't see who is in the car. They're gonna be thinking, what kind of disrespect is happening right here? Because the car was moving up and down, as I was saying, as we were changing. The drill. You guys get the drill of what I'm saying. Now, both myself and my friend was arrested. So both of us, so the taxi guy, so the married man, he was able to go scotch-free, because again, stuck with his story that he's a taxi driver, he's just going into the bank to get some money to put some gas in his vehicle to run his taxi. That was the story. Yeah. And of course it was believable. I went with the flow. Yeah. Because it would have been my word against his word. But I was not that wicked. I had a heart to an extent. So, I still was trying to maintain his own character as well. And he too was maintaining his character. He did not want to get in no problems. Yeah. And I understand.
Okay, let's go.